Swedish Institute is a vibrant arts and cultural organization in the Phillips neighborhood of Minneapolis, founded 85 years ago by Swedish newspaperman Swan Turnblad, who built his mansion and castle as a gathering place to celebrate Swedish literature, the arts, and culture. The mission of the American Swedish Institute is to be a gathering place for all people to celebrate common themes of the environment, culture, the arts, migration, all with an enduring link to Sweden.
That gathering place for all people to come together. We identify 5 target audiences. I mean, that's part also of our work, is to see who we want to serve and serve them with specific means. And one of those happens to be our neighborhood audience. The ASI has been a cultural anchor in the Phillips neighborhood for 85 years. And this neighborhood is a neighborhood of transient culture, if you will. I mean, everything from new people coming in and settling, whether it was Swedes or now today on our streets or in our neighborhood. We have a lot of new Somali. So it's a very diverse neighborhood, and we wanted to create an institution physically that allowed many of these different audiences access to our mission and vision. And so that's what led us to really want to open up a design, create a design of a welcoming space that added a cafe, a retail shop, an event rental space so we could host neighborhood meetings, cultural gatherings, weddings. Sort of break down that barrier of historic home only made for members.
When we set out to build the Nelson Cultural Center, the idea, literally and figuratively, was to open our doors wider so that every individual that lives here in Phillips community can find that they have a place, that this is a place that they can come for conversation, for meeting their peers, for meeting new friends, and to really connect with their community.
Here's an organization, a national organization, Pike Head Start. There's 6 classrooms, I think, within maybe a 3-mile radius. They hosted the first graduation, I think, like 4 years ago. Now we have up to, I think, I'd like to say 400 people walk through the front door over the course of 2 days. And it's not just the kids, it's the community members, the families, the people who really support this whole child learning environment that's established and rooted in a community of need. So now they're coming back because they have a safe place to play outdoors here at the American Swedish Institute. We've designed our grounds for that to take place. And they don't have a safe place to play. They don't.
To really take the museum into their classrooms, to use the iconic Swedish heroine Pippi Longstocking as a method to teach kids about storyboarding and creating their own stories. And so it's those enduring links to Sweden that we can use as little nods to share larger universal themes. We always celebrate the traditions of the 5 Nordic countries. And so last year what we did is we said, let's talk about a 6th country. Let's bring another group to the table. We've been doing this since the 1930s.
And we selected a theme. It wasn't just random just to add a six countries perspective.
We did.
Or 6 cultures perspective.
Right. The theme was food, being in cuisine, and being that one of the easiest ways to connect with somebody, to share a story through culture is through food. And we had a 6th room that celebrated the holiday traditions and food of Mexico, and is about 80% of our community right around us. And we also, in the last year, did a great show called Dressing Swedish, Dressing Ormo. It was a pairing of a traditional Swedish clothing garment show that traced, Swedish clothing from folklore costumes to Lisbeth Salander and Girl with Dragon Tattoo. And, we had a former summer intern who had worked here who was of Oromo descent from southern Ethiopia. And he had, during his time here, asked one of our colleagues, would you ever talk about people that weren't Swedish at the American Swedish Institute? And Ingrid said yes. And he said, no, would you ever talk about people that look like me? And that began a dialogue of what this could be and when it could be, and what the end product was a fantastic show looking at the idea of cultural identity through dress. And when do you make these decisions of, I'm not going to wear traditional clothing, I'm going to put on a pair of jeans, or my parents wore this kind of jewelry or neck outfit or accessory, I'm not going to wear it now. And so it was an amazing way to build those connections with our traditional audience and then open it up into a larger conversation about what this meant through the theme of migration.
Absolutely, yeah, and
moments.
that's also it's cross-cultural, it's cross-generational, and that's part of also by design when we think about what we're doing and how we want to reach a broader audience, including all the residents in our neighborhood. We aim for an opportunity to do some social bridging, right? So you can come to a cultural institution and meet somebody you don't know from a different background and have a conversation. If you want to be a gathering place, that's great, but you don't want to set up a bunch of silos. You want people talking to each other, and so that's really the most important part of our work, because I think we designed a space to allow people with intention to intersect.